there are very few iconic figures that are still alive, and when you think of Don Norford, it's synonymous with Long Beach Poly. So the thought that he's finally going to pass the baton on to someone else, pun intended, is very difficult. It's a very hard thing to fathom, because for so long, this program has kids who are in it that are generational. Their parents and their grandparents have come through this program, and the one common factor that they all had was, in some way, shape, or form, Don Norford has impacted their family in some regards. And to see him, finally decide that it's time for him to step down, it's an emotional time for me, and it's something that I never thought that I'd see in my lifetime.
He has played the role of father figure and mentor to all his student athletes and clients. He's simply a high successful, well-respected, God-fearing man of the community of Long Beach, who just happens to be a pivotal coach at one of the most celebrated high schools in the country. His name is Don Norford. Around these parts, Papa Don. That's what we call him.
During his 38 years coaching at Long Beach Poly, Papa Don has established himself as a coaching legend. As the head of the track program and an assistant coach for football, Norford has won an astonishing 34 CIF Southern Section titles. He has also won 18 state championships, which is more than any other high school in the state. That sustained excellence makes him one of the greatest high school coaches of all time.
Every time you look at those rings, you think about the kids, you think about the program and all the things you had to do to acquire that. And I'm just thankful to the Lord, just thankful.
He had that ability to be everybody's dad, to be everybody's father, a father figure for these guys, and so many of these guys needed it and were missing it. And so he filled the gap there, and there's just a consistency with Don that's hard to describe. He's the same every day, and he's been that way for 38 years, and he always goes hard.
Coach Don was that dad away from track. My dad didn't care about track, he just cared about hard work. But Coach Don taught me the technical aspect of, what was needed in track and what to do to compete and different things of that nature. As far as the success, you can't compare it to anyone that I know of. And I strive as a coach to continue that legacy when he leaves.
Norford has always been able to develop special relationships with his athletes, and after nearly 4 decades of coaching, this group of track rabbits is no exception.
Coach Don is amazing. I've never met anyone with so much wisdom, and I think the fact that he always wants more, he never feels like, oh, I know everything. He's always learning. He learns from me, which I'm like, no, I learned from you. He's amazing. And it doesn't really matter what we're doing. He always has advice for me. He's built me to places I never thought I could be. He sees things in me that I don't exactly see yet. So I'm just extremely blessed to have him as a coach. I love him, and I just know that God's really proud of him.
I remember I met Coach Don when I was 7 years old. He always told me I had a great future ahead of me, and he's just a great person. From the track to school books to personal life to boyfriend, girlfriend advice, he's just there for you. And for him to leave, it's sad, but we're gonna still continue to do what he taught us, our ins and outs, whatever he taught us, we're gonna still do. And he's just a great person. I love him so much.
Things he says kind of sticks to you, he's something that you always remember.
Yeah, you can tell your kids.
You're gonna tell your kids, and it's things that I say to myself every day before I get on the track.
Right. Don's done me that.
Yeah.
When I know last year when I was struggling trying to get over some injuries, he was always there, motivating me just to keep pushing, keep doing what you're doing, and one day, it's gonna all come together. So.
It's inspiring. All these team titles and all this stuff he has. He's one of the greatest coaches alive. I know he's retiring, but nobody will ever have a say oh, I had a coach like Coach Don. I can say that. I'm happy that he got the chance to coach me and look at my accomplishments. He's part of the reason why I got where I am right now and helping me sign to my school. So I'm sad that he's leaving. Well, I'm leaving too, but he's a great coach.
I think that's the most important thing is my relationship with those kids. That's more valuable to me than any of those state championships, rings, anything else.
When you run for Coach Don, you're embraced into a family, and he creates a culture. he always looks at big picture. There's always a purpose for everything that he does. And so what he does so well is he doesn't treat you like a kid. You may come in as a boy or a girl running in high school, but you leave as a young man, a young woman. You learn social etiquettes in a culture, and that culture is fostered by the love that he puts into every training and the way that he's able to peak you. He doesn't just peak you physically, but he helps you go through stages of maturation. It might be a time where you just need to talk to him, console, and he's there as, you know, a consoling fatherly figure. Other times, you know, you may need him to be a little bit more stern, but it's his ability to say that one thing that triggers that inner competitiveness out of you, and that brings it out, and that confidence that you can't put your hand on it, but he's always in tune with how his athletes need to be spoken to and how they need to be, you know, pushed and challenged.
The greatest thing you can say about Don is that there's just a stabilizing force and such a strong guy, and he was there every day, and just a big factor in a lot of people's lives. And I know the guys used to go over his house, you know, on the weekends, and Carol used to feed him back in the old days. And so there was a great personal relationship between the players and Don away from the facility. But, you know, Don was just such a great influence, you know. Anybody who can be in one place for 38 years and give that same kind of effort, and obviously you've seen what he's done with track and field when he took off of the track program and wrote his own ticket there. But he was a vital cog for us. I mean, you know, he's always been a disciplinarian and a fundamental guy, and definitely an inspirational guy.
Don's wife, Carol, who passed in 2003, also played a major part in the success at Poly.
She was the force behind me, pushing me. Anything that I did, she was always by my side and always supported me. And she was just a wonderful person, and just loved kids. Sometimes she would come by here. You know, maybe I got on one of the kids, a couple of the kids. They see her, they go run to her, you know, and stuff like that. Yeah.
So you were sort of it really was almost like a family then. You were the stern dad, and she was kind of the mom who come in and
all
pick
the
everybody
time,
up.
fed everybody, fed the whole neighborhood. You know, I'd come home sometimes, there'd be people I don't even know, kids I don't even know. Yeah, you know, I didn't care as long as mine was there.
What's that going to be like for you the first time you get up next year and you don't have to come to Poly to coach?
To be honest with you, that's going to be very hard, because what I'm going to miss more than anything else, Mike, is my relationship with the kids. I'm going to miss that because I treasure that, because that's where you have the biggest impact on the kids. You can give them wisdom that'll last 1,000 years, the things that they can multiply with in their children, and it's such a blessed gift that the Lord has given me, to be able to discern and to be able to look at those kids' heart. You hear them talking, but be able to look at their heart and see what really is the root of any discomfort or any problems they have. I've been working like 6 days a week, anywhere from 12 to 16 hours a day, and it's just, you know, it's taking its toll on me. You know, I got real sick in 2008. The doctor said, you got to slow down. I slowed down for a little while and I went right back at it, but now I'm 67, so I have to.
You know, everybody's got to move on, and I know he's certainly accomplished more than anybody in track and field in the United States, so he's earned his rest.
Next season, the Poly track program will move into the hands of Don's talented assistant coaches, led by longtime assistant head coach Crystal Irving.
I take that as out of respect. I don't take it lightly, and it's not something that where we're going to start dropping the ball now. We're going to continue that tradition and continue that legacy.
I got the best staff in the world, you know, and it's proven by how successful we've been. You know, we're a track team that's known worldwide, and it took a lot to get there, a lot of hard work, not just my work and my wife's work, but the whole staff. the kids in the community, the school, the teachers, the administration. It's a team thing. It's a family thing.
We are we and us. Ain't no I. Ain't no me.